habit is an unreflected repetition of a specific behavior. It happens automatically. It could be how you brush your teeth in the morning. The body is used to brushing in a certain way without thinking. You probably do not think about how you walk either, or ride a bike. You just do it. It's an automatic reaction the body does without you thinking about it. It's the body's way of staying alive and engaging in the world. It's the body's senses that make meaning out of a specific behavior, like how to walk. If this specific behavior at one point of time has created meaning in the body, it becomes a habit when repeated. This means that we learn a specific behavior, we repeat it, and it becomes a habit in the body. The more repetition of a behavior, the less we think about what we do. The body is learning a habit based on how many times you repeat, no matter if the repetition is done during a short or a long period of time. It is all about how the brain and body works together. Amygdala means almond in Greek, and a little piece of the brain shaped as an almond is called amygdala. What amygdala is great at is to maintain what has created meaning earlier and protect the body from new behavior. Protect the body from danger, so to speak. That is why it's so difficult to change a habit, even if it makes sense when you think about it. Here's an example. We know that it's important to exercise and eat healthy food, and most of us can do better. It is ever so easy to take the rational decision to do something about it. But the moment we start to take a step in that direction, amygdala objects and keeps us in our old habits, doing what we usually do. If amygdala could speak, it would probably say, "What you're considering there, my friend, is not good for you. Do what you normally do. Take a piece of chocolate and take a well-earned rest. It gives so much more meaning." When we do what we usually do, dopamine is released. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter, and when that is released, we feel rewarded. When the body has once experienced that a certain behavior gives well-being, then the body will repeat itself to get the reward and the sense of well-being again. If the new behavior also makes sense, it will be competing with the old behavior hijacked by amygdala. And the only way to win the battle is repetition until the behavior is giving at least as much reward in the form of well-being as the old habit. That is when an old habit has been replaced with a new one. Understanding how amygdala works is therefore key when you believe an athlete can benefit by changing a habit. Amygdala is situated in the brain but carries no thoughts. It senses and sticks to what I usually do, my routines, and avoiding the potentially dangerous. Amygdala does not think dangerous, but senses that it is. The prefrontal cortex, on the other hand, has lots of thoughts. It's just not as active as amygdala can be, and is therefore often overruled. Nevertheless, it is thoughts we need to be able to change a habit. We need to force ourselves to repeat. The repetition is both to think how a specific behavior makes sense and to do the behavior over and over again. A habit is like this. First, a need. That's a trigger. And it could be, I'm hungry. Then the body acts. That's a behavior, the habit. For example, I reach out for a chocolate. Then the reward, the well-being. The easiest way to change a habit is when the need and the reward remain the same. We can then concentrate on changing the behavior. Let's take the previous example. The need is still, I'm hungry, and the reward is still, pleasure. The only thing we change is the behavior. Instead of eating chocolate, we eat a banana. The body is programmed to reach out for chocolate, and reprogramming the body to reach out for the banana takes a lot of repetition. So where do you find habits in an athlete's behavior? The first thing is physical training, where habits are embedded in how the athlete chooses to train. There may be a training program, but how does the athlete focus in each of the training elements? Next, there are technical skills, like how blade and eyes meet in a certain movement. Once a habit is created, amygdala will persistently fight for what has made sense earlier, even if the coach can prove that a different technical movement is better. Habits in tactical skills come in many forms. It could be how a figure skater tries to impress the judges with his or her performance, or how a speed skater positions him or herself in mass start or in short track races. The mental habits have to do with the athlete's balance between negative automatic thoughts and constructive automatic thoughts. If a negative automatic thought is, I will not succeed with this element, or I will most probably be too tired for the last sprint, then there is a good reason to work on this habit. The last two areas are often neglected. The first one is restitution, and restitution consists of sleep, restitution of muscles after use, and mental restitution before and after performance, and in between. If a part of the athlete's bedtime ritual is to put on the television just before sleeping, the sleeping quality is lower than if the athlete was reading in a book. This, of course, affects performance, and the habit is worth working on. The last place where we find habits is nutrition, meaning eating and drinking habits. Thoughts can change a habit as earlier described. In combination with rituals, the athlete will have a structure in which to work with the habit to change the behavior. If the habit is turning on the television before going to sleep, the ritual, reading a book, can in time change the old habit to a new one. A ritual turns into a habit when the ritual is repeated so many times that one do not think about it anymore. The body simply reaches out for the book without the athlete thinking about it. If you wonder why people are not changing easily, think about how they are being hijacked by amygdala and how rituals must be repeated over and over again to force amygdala to sense differently, letting the athlete's body do what is better for him or her. Take a minute to reflect upon your own habits as a coach and where you are hijacked by amygdala. Which of your habits are beneficial for the athletes and which are not? Which rituals would be good for you to start working on?